question. How often do you have to groom? This is specifically for doodles. Good morning, Valerie. For doodles or even poodles or any of the dogs that don't shed as much because they're not losing the hair and it just grows back in. I mean, all dogs need to be bathed and blow dried and getting their undercoat out. Like for golden retrievers is really, really important. But for like a doodle or poodle, a Yorkie even, here's the deal. I got to tell people, it's really up to you and how much you love brushing, how often you want to brush, and how long you want their coat to be. Me personally, I don't enjoy it. I don't want to do it. I don't enjoy it. I was lucky if I got Jenna's hair brushed every day, let alone my own on some days, than to have to be brushing my dog every day. So for some people, it's just not something they're willing to put high on their priority commitment list. And that doesn't mean you can't own a doodle. I know people will probably be like really mad at me right now. But what you have to do is to make the commitment to groom them more often and get them shorter. So take mine in. I take mine in like every 5 weeks, and we go down to a number 4 blade, and it keeps them really short. So it's minimal brushing. I start to see it getting, feel a little mat coming, start to feel it, not as smooth and I can't run my fingers through it. Then we'll quick run the brush through it. So overall, and mine are F1. They don't have the super tight poodle coat, so they're much easier to run a brush through. For our poodles, I do the same thing though. They're getting groomed every 4 to 5 weeks. They're groomed short, and we just keep an eye and brush them a couple times a week and keep an eye on any matting areas, especially like ears underneath their chin from eating and drinking is a really common place of getting matted. And on their hips from laying down on their coat, they can get mats right there. So I have clients though, they absolutely love it. It's very soothing and therapeutic for them, and they love spending that time with their dog to sit and brush them, that they have these doodles with these long flowy golden or red or white locks that is just, it's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. And that's a lot of commitment though. So be realistic about how much time and how much you do enjoy it. And if that's something, again, some people really enjoy grooming their doodles and brushing and some don't. So you just have to make those decisions based on your lifestyle. If you like them longer and you're going to brush more, then you don't have to go to the groomer as often. Grooming is expensive, just in case you don't know. I think some people are shocked by the ticket price of grooming. On average, it could be $80 to $100 for a standard size golden doodle, depending on your area. But do understand it's a lot of work. And until you've actually tried to bathe, blow dry, cut, trim, scissor cut an entire dog and do a sanitation shave and do their nails, please understand these groomers work hard for their money. It's a very time consuming. And then if they're good, I mean, there's invaluable for having a good groomer that grooms your dog the way you like it, and if your dog likes them. So lots of things to consider with grooming. It is an expense, so please consider that before you do get a golden doodle. You have to make some decisions about what you're willing to do, and do you have the money and the lifestyle to maintain that kind of hair, because these dogs, they're a little high maintenance in some ways, and their coat is definitely one of them. Kiana has one of ours. It's her daughter's diabetic alert dog. She writes, "Oh my gosh, couldn't figure out why Penny had a smelly face. Her beard. She had eaten yogurt. Yeah, she had eaten yogurt in her food, and it was crunchy and stuck in her beard." So you'd be wondering, like, why does my dog smell like sour milk? That's why. Their beards are gross. Like, you have to watch that. If they eat, and if they got the long, all around their muzzle, really, and they're in their food bowl with their hair long, and they're eating any kind of topper or salmon oil, that's another one, salmon oil on their food, or yogurt, like that gets in their face. It's disgusting. It's gross. It's stinky. You do have to maintain that. Wash their face like a baby, man. Holy heck. Hi, Natalie. Kiana says we keep her short, she'll brush every few days. Sandy shave, her underside, paws, etc. Definitely makes longer in between grooms. Yeah, and a sanitation shave, in case you don't know, super helps, and it's actually really easy to do. It just takes a little bit of time and practice, and your dog, you know, you have to make sure your dog's compliant and they understand, hey, you need to stand here and let me do this. But you're shaving all around the bum and kind of down the inside of the tail so that when they do poop, like no poop gets stuck to any hair. Like that's a big deal, right? Like nobody wants little dingleberries on their dog and have to clean it up. We just don't. So if you keep all that sanitation area shaved, the same thing for females around their vulva, shave and keep the hair short or shorter. And for the males, like I'm just going to be honest, here's conversations I have with clients. If you do keep the hair longer in their private area, when they do pee, it's going, you know, there's hair there, so it's going to be wet and it's going to stink and be a little bit dirtier, and they're going to come in wet. And so if they lay on something, and they're going to get more pee on stuff because it's in their fur now. Here's the honest conversation we have is because I've had families that have been concerned about, like, don't judge me, I'm just a messenger here. And I get it if you feel this way too. It's fine. Like, it's all okay. Like, we're just going to say it out in the open, no judgment here. They've been concerned about having a dog with male parts with the child because, you know, the red rocket, dog's erections, you know, having to explain that to a child, or that they don't want their children to see that, and or they have an aversion to it, right? Like, it's fine. That, like, I support you. It's okay. We've talked about leaving the hair longer all around there, and then things aren't so visual, so in your face kind of thing. But then again, I tell them the trade-off is if you leave fur down there longer, it's just a little more messy. You gotta wipe things down a little more often so they're not so stinky. Okay, great. I'm so glad we had that chat and got that out of the way. Number 2, switching foods. And if you have any questions, if you're joining in, ask any dog related questions and I'll do my best to answer. Another question that came in was about switching food. How the heck do you do that? One common mistake we make, now I'm just going to throw it out there first. If you're dealing with a medical issue, this does not apply. So if you have to switch their food due to a medical issue, please follow the advice of your veterinarian. If you're wanting to switch your dog's food because you got a new puppy and you have an established dog at home and you want your puppy on the established dog's dog food, so you're only buying one dog food, or whatever your reasons are, or if there's just been continuous, constant stomach issues, and so your vet's recommending maybe we should switch the food and just see, I will say that that's not always the answer. I have seen we get too antsy about switching foods too many times and too quickly that it just causes more problems. So I don't know why some dogs are so sensitive to switching dog food. It does not make sense to me at all when you think about them eating their own poop and eating dead lizards and putting everything in their mouth, but yet we can't switch their kibble and all hell breaks loose. I don't have the answers for that. That's just the reality, unfortunately. But what I can tell you is to think in nines when doing anything with dog food. I tell my clients too when they take home a puppy from me, I'm not a dog food snob. I don't believe there's just one dog food that fits all dogs' needs. Different dogs do have different needs, and some of that can depend on the breed of the dog as well. I wish there was one food that was perfect for every dog, but it's just not the reality. Here's what I caution. No matter what food the breeder sends home your puppy on, stick with it for 9 weeks. You're in it to win it by 9 weeks worth, like 9 weeks. If your puppy's poop is good, I would never switch their food, ever. Like, I wouldn't play with fire. I would just be like, well, I'd rather buy 2 different dog foods if the case is you have another dog on another food personally. Or you can try to and see, switch over 9 days. That's why I say think in nines. Always when you switch their dog food, unless a medical issue, keep them on it for 9 weeks. It takes 9 weeks for the food to fully leave their system. If there's any kind of allergy or intolerance to the food, it could take 9 weeks for the body to kind of get that all out of its system. So do you see the problem? Like, you switch and 3 weeks later, you're like, we're still having bad poop, I'm switching again. And you wait 2, 3, 4 more weeks, and then you switch again. Like, oh my gosh, you're creating a GI storm. So 9 weeks, make the commitment if you're going to switch to the dog food, and then take 9 days to make that switch. So the first 3 days is their food that they've been on, 75%, and just add 25% of the new food. The next 3 days, 50-50, half and half. And as long as everything's going well, like we're not seeing a big tummy upset, we're not having vomiting or anything, the last 3 days, do it 25-75 the other way around, 25% your old food, 75% your new food. So take up to 9 days to transition. If at any point we're having some GI issue or stomach upset, anytime in a dog's life, here's just another little trick for you. Anytime they eat something, they caught a bird and they ate it and then they got diarrhea, or you bought a new treat and they got diarrhea, or they counter-surfed and got into something and now they have diarrhea. Our go-to is, if they're old enough, we'll just withhold food for 24 hours and let everything settle. You know, like when you're really sick and you just need your body to reset, you can do that, and or feed a bland diet that's just really easy to digest. It's really easy on their tummy. And that's just boiled hamburger, drain all the grease, rinse it out, and white rice. And you can feed them a couple cups of that a day. And you can add a little bit of canned pumpkin in it too, so it's just lightly orange. And it's just a really bland food to help them get over any little stomach upset or even stress. Let's say you had them boarded while you were at vacation and they come home and they got the shits. And you're like, oh my God, it's probably stress. So you can put them on a bland diet for a couple days, and then you know, again, 3 days on the bland diet, and the next 3 days, half kibble, half bland diet. Make sure, okay, we good? Are we good? Everything's good? Everything's looking good still? Like we're okay still? We're sleeping through the night? No, you know, then you can make that switch. So there's a couple tricks for you when dealing with dog food. Think in 9s, 9 weeks, 9 days. 9 weeks before you switch a food, 9 days to transfer it. If at any time you just feel like they just need to reset, you can go to the bland diet of boiled, or you can fry the hamburger. Like I make a taco meat and then I rinse any grease out of it and I just make white minute rice and mix it, and I take a dollop of canned pumpkin, not for the pumpkin pie, just plain canned pumpkin. It's great fiber, and mix it in till it's a really, really light orange color. Don't be alarmed if not all the rice is digested, and when your dog poops, it looks like worms. It's the rice that didn't fully digest. So just another little fun fact. We're talking about all sorts of good things this Friday. Aren't you glad you tuned in? Oh my goodness, I think we've covered all the uncomfortable things. All right, any questions, just drop them in the bar below. Another question from a viewer is stress signals. What does a dog do to show you they are stressed? Why don't you, my viewers, drop those answers in right now and you tell me, this is a fun little game, what stress signals do dogs and puppies give when they're telling you, I've had enough. I tap out, I opt out, I leave the chat, I'm done. I need to go home and Netflix and chill, or even if they're home, I need to be in my kennel, or whatever's going on, it needs to stop. You tell me what are common and not common dog stress signals. Go. Let's see if you guys can get most of them. There we go. The first one, yawning. Natalie, Alex, Lisa, absolutely yawning. It's a huge misconception that when we see a dog yawn, we think, oh, they're tired. It's not. It is one of the most common stress signals in a dog. That is your warning. That is your sign that whatever's going on, you need to stop. Because ultimately, you want your dog and puppy to trust you. And if you keep doing whatever's happening and they're telling you and giving you stress signals and you ignore them, that is really disrespectful. And then you create a dog or puppy that does not trust you. And in extreme cases, unfortunately, dogs then feel like they have to protect themselves, or the only way they can stop and get your attention is by growling or biting or fleeing. And we never, ever want to have to make our dog be in that position, that we push them that far. So yawning is absolutely, Natalie says, ears and tails down. Yeah, Some of that could just be initial submission of being very submissive. I'm not a threat kind of thing. But if you continue to see that yeah, generally that's submission. So just watch and see if there's any other stress signals that come along with that. Ears pinned can be stress. So it's not that they're down, and maybe that's what you mean, but like when they're pinned, when they pull them close, you can kind of see, could definitely be a stress signal. No eye contact. Not all dogs give eye contact. Fun fact, it's actually a genetic trait that they get from their parents with eye contact. Some of it's submission versus dominance, and some of it is if it's no eye contact in the way of avoidance. So it's not them not just looking at you. I couldn't say for sure that alone was stress, but if they literally avoid something as simple as even turning their head or leaving, and they're very clear. This is what's amazing. And I know unless you're a breeder, you don't get to witness this. And I need to try to get it on camera several times. When puppies are playing together and one starts to get rough, and this is even with your dogs, any dogs playing. Okay, two dogs are playing. And if they're both reciprocating, being on top, and one chases, and then they turn, the other one chases. So if it's very reciprocal and even, that's good play. What happens even within a litter, we always tend to have kind of, I call them the bully, right? So they're playing and pinning and growling and shaking their litter mate, and their litter mate avoids. They get up, they turn their back to them, they keep trying to walk away, like they're literally telling them, I am done, leave me alone. And if that puppy continues to follow them and continue that play, we do step in and give the bully puppy a time out. They're not reading those dogs' body language. They're being too assertive, like, calm down, dude. Like, it's fine, but geez, oh my gosh, like out of control crazy. So helping guide emotional responses and making them calm down, and then giving them another chance to go in and play. We don't allow that bully behavior. So absolutely avoiding. This is a powerful tool people can do. Dogs read body language really, really well. Dogs communicate almost entirely by body language. And here us humans are over here talking constantly, thinking that's the way to communicate with our dog, when really most of your communication is through your body language. A fantastic thing you can have your kids do when it becomes a litter mate situation, but it gets one-sided, right? Your kids are running and screaming and the puppy's chasing. So your kid is really telling your puppy, I'm running or I'm leaving, but in a rapid way, and I'm using sound. So to that puppy, it really is telling him to chase me. So your kid's running, but like it gets too intense and it's too much. And then the puppy's nipping and biting at the kid, just like they do with each other. There's no difference. It's not a mean puppy. What we have to teach our kids to do is, we call it freeze like a tree. Hands under the armpits and stop moving. Every time the puppy comes around to the front of you, you turn your back to them. At first, you may have to do it several times, and you as a parent need to walk your kids through this. Just turn around again, turn around, and the puppy's going to keep going around to the front. The puppy's going to be jumping on, and the puppy's going to be biting their clothes like, hello, trying to get their attention. And they have to, it's far more powerful telling them no through body language than pushing them and saying no, because by pushing them, you're actually telling them to come back and play more, because dogs play with their front paws, right? They're all over each other. They smack each other with their front paws. They pin each other with their paws. They both jump up on each other with their front paws. So that's exactly what you're doing to them using body language. By pushing them back down, you're literally saying, let's play more. So hands away. Keep turning and facing your behind to the puppy. And it's actually beautiful to witness as you're telling your kid the first time this, and then the puppy will literally, you'll see it instantly, like, okay, fine, I'm gonna find something else to do. It's that amazing. If we could just all communicate correctly to our puppies, everybody would be so much happier. If you are a parent and you're getting a puppy, or you're dealing with this right now, you have to train your child, and your child can never give a correction to a puppy. And the reason why is because due to the energy that a child has, they can never command the type of energy. that a puppy will take seriously. Everything about a child's a litter mate, and those little suckers are not nice to each other. They bite and play and chase and tug and thwomp on each other. So the best thing you can do to teach your child is stop engaging. This is another thing, and I see it on go home days over and over and over and over again. These poor kids, but they don't know better. They're in with puppies, and the puppies are, kind of jumping up at them and grabbing their clothes and being totally normal, brave, curious puppies and exploring everything through their mouth. It's not okay to put the mouth on a human, but they haven't been really taught yet. And even if they've been taught not to put their mouth on me, puppies are so situational. So now you put a child in with them, they're like, woo, like no rules here. So these puppies will be kind of all jumping on the kid, and the kid is sitting there kind of going like this, trying to pet the puppy. But don't get your teeth on me. I mean, look at it from a puppy's point of view. You're just escalating play. Come on, gotta get it. Be faster. Bite me harder. Keep coming at me. Like you literally see how they're communicating completely not the same way. What the human's thinking and wanting, you're not telling the puppy to do that. You're actually telling the puppy to do the exact opposite. So for kids, remove, stand and freeze like a tree, keep turning their bum to the behind, keep turning their bum to the behind, everything will be fine. Keep turning their backside to the puppy, letting them know very, very clearly, I'm done playing and I'm not going to play like this or whatever. All right. Totally thought no eye contact was the stubbornness and Penny, haha, but I do notice it's more when she's worked all day with Grace and she's maybe more tired. Yeah. And just very polite. A few things that could be, Kiana, it could be like, please don't ask anything else of me because I am tired. And if I look at you, just like with people, like no eye contact, and then I don't have to talk to you, right? Like this is just common. This is even within people. Like if I give you eye contact, you might ask me to do something. So please, yes, it's absolutely probably her way of saying, I'm being, first of all, submissive and polite by not staring at my leader. And two, please don't ask anything else of me. Dogs that stare, that's a really good question. Why do dogs stare at you? Generally, it's only for two reasons. So when you think about all the times I don't stare at you, neither one of these things are happening. Dogs will sit and stare at you if, number one, they want something. So they're sitting and staring at you like, you're 5 minutes late for feeding. Or open the damn door, please. Or I really need to go out and take a walk. The only way they can tell you, and hopefully it's not barking and being crazy, is sitting and staring at you like they're trying to tell you what they need by sitting and staring. Or number two, they're sitting and staring at you because they're trying to figure out what you want from them. They're trying to figure out if your expression has any kind of meaning that applies to them or relates to them that they have to do something in return. You'll see this a lot through training, them looking at you like, okay, what do you want me to do? I absolutely love and watch for this specifically in puppy evaluations when Jen is moving from one thing to another and the puppy sits and looks up at her, because I think it's a very beautiful thing. And I think those kind of puppies are very trainable, have high workability. They're literally sitting and looking at the human like, okay, what's next? They're processing and figuring out, what can I do for you? We just have to be careful for those puppies that we also continue to meet their needs. But it's truly, they're sitting and staring at you, one of two things. They want something from you, or they're trying to figure out what you need. Both are important, and the longer you have your dog, the more you'll figure it out. I have one, Hannah. She'll come and sit and stare at me. It's either let me outside or I need food. Like one of two things for her. So, and she's old enough now. I could be like outside, and if she doesn't budge, I'm like food, and then she'll start to wiggle, like, just with the two words. I'm like food, outside, and she'll wiggle and let me know, like, yes, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm like, all right, deal, fine. All right, Jennifer, no questions now, but let me tell you, thank you so much for the best dog ever. Ham dog from Aztec and Hazel's litter. She is my life. Well, you're very, very welcome. I'm so glad to hear. Truly makes my days much brighter to know that everybody's doing well with their puppies. Alex, I was just wondering today, my 14-week-old puppy was staring me down. Yeah. So Alex, one of two things, and this is what's so fun about raising a puppy is you've got to figure out, is she wanting something from you, or is she wanting to figure out what you need from her? And both are really powerful. And figuring that out is, I think, such a huge part of having that deeper innate relationship with your dog. When it gets to the point with one look, you can figure it out, or with just a follow-up word, food, outside, in my case. I know exactly what she wants. She's like, finally, for shit's sake. And I think overall too, it depends on the type of puppy. There are those puppies that are what's next, what's next, what can I do for you, what do you need from me, right? And we can see that in the puppy evaluations. And there's also those puppies that are like, you ask them to do something, they're like, what's it going to be for me? What's in it for me kind of puppies. And so I have one of each. That's Hannah. What's in it for me? She has no problem coming and telling me, I need to go outside, or you're late feeding me, or I want to be fed again, or whatever. Very, very politely. That's just her personality. She has no problem telling me when she needs something. God love Holly. Like, she would like hold it as long as she could. Like, she wouldn't, I feel like it's like, I'm not going to bother you. Like, because Holly's life and her energy and her spirit and her soul, it's all about me. Mom, what can I do for you? So I have to be really careful. Everybody has to be really careful if you have that tender-hearted dog that their whole life really does revolve around you, that we don't forget. And sometimes I do, because I'll forget to feed her dinner. And then Hannah reminds me, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Holly. Like, I'm sorry. So just really making sure we honor those two very different types of dogs. And I love them both. And I'm so blessed I have one of each. Okay, where are we at here? Outside was the case. Yeah, she's like, I want to go outside. Can't you read my mind? They crack me up. Kiana says, oh man, Penny stares hard at Grace when she's checking, but not 100% sure. Her eyes will dart back and forth from me to Grace like, is this it, girls? It is what I think it is. So much expression. Then she does not stop staring at Grace till she finally fixes her blood sugar. So yeah, again, those of you who don't know, Kiana's daughter, Grace is type 1 diabetic, and Penny is her diabetic alert dog. So there's a lot of processing, a lot of thinking, a lot of working, staring at you guys like, hello, check, and then ultimately, hello, give me my treat for working, right? At the end of the day, no dog works for free. There's always some reward, whether it's praise or food, or like, let's go play with my favorite toy kind of thing. Yes, good questions. Hey, I'm Jeanette with 40 Kennels. We're not only healing hearts and changing lives truly through the power of a dog, but we are changing breeding from bad to badass, and I am taking a pile of breeders with me. I have sold over 6,000 books with no marketing to date, and have, I think, almost 4,000 members in our private Facebook group. I offer classes for the mentors on different topics, and of course my software. And then for our 40 Kennels family, I continue to build YouTube videos. If you haven't accessed those, whether you have a dog for me or not, whether you have a puppy or an older dog, there's so many videos that could help you with tether training, sit on the dog, how a dog thinks, how to communicate with your dog, on all for free on my YouTube channel, 40 Kennels. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. You can go check some of those out. Happy Friday, everybody. Have a great weekend. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.